Let's get something straight right from the beginning. If you're over 60 and still relying on pills, hoping they'll fix everything that's changed in your body, you're not alone. But here's the truth most men never hear. Your biggest issue isn't in your head or even in your testosterone levels. It's in the muscles and circulation systems that no one ever told you to train. My name is Dr. William Mark. I've spent more than 3 decades working with men just like you. Smart, capable men who quietly wonder why things don't work like they used to. You haven't failed. Your body's simply been ignored in all the wrong places. You see, the muscle groups that support blood flow, control erections, and sustain stamina don't get stronger by accident. And they don't stay healthy just because you want them to. They respond to movement, the right kind, and you've likely never trained them a day in your life. This isn't about chasing your youth. It's about reclaiming what's still available to you now, naturally, safely, and without relying on drugs that treat symptoms but never fix the cause. And here's the best part. You don't need a gym, supplements, or complicated routines. You just need 4 proven exercises, each designed to restore circulation, rebuild nerve signals, and reawaken the confidence you thought was gone. In just a moment, I'll walk you through each one. You'll learn why they work, how to do them correctly, and what to expect as your body begins to respond. But before we start, I want you to ask yourself one thing. If real, lasting change only took a few minutes a day, would you give it a shot? Because that's all it takes to begin. Exercise 1, pelvic floor activation. The forgotten foundation. Before any real improvement can happen, you need to understand this. Your erection quality isn't just about blood. It's about control, muscular control. And the muscle group at the center of that control is one you've probably never thought about. It's called the pelvic floor, specifically the pubocageus or PC muscle. And it's the one system responsible for making sure that when the blood gets to your penis, it stays there. Over time, especially as men pass their 60s, this muscle weakens. Not because of something you did wrong, but because of life. Sitting too much, moving too little, and not using the muscle in the ways it was meant to be used. The result? Weaker erections, loss of sensation, and even issues like post-urination dribbling or early ejaculation. But the good news is this. Just like your arms or legs, the pelvic floor can be trained. And when you do, the benefits are immediate and profound. Dr. William Mark has seen this with his own patients. Men who hadn't had a morning erection in years started waking up with them again. Men who felt disconnected from their bodies began regaining confidence in ways they thought were behind them. It all started with this one simple activation. Here's how to do it. Sit or lie down comfortably. Now imagine you're trying to stop the flow of urine midstream. That's the PC muscle. Gently contract it and hold the squeeze for 5 seconds, then release. Rest a few seconds and repeat. Aim for 10 to 15 reps, 3 times per day. Don't force it. You're not trying to flex like a gym lift. You're trying to reconnect to a muscle that's quietly faded out of your awareness. Consistency is everything. You won't notice a miracle overnight, but within a few weeks, you may begin to feel something stirring again. A sense of control, of readiness, of function waking up. What makes this exercise so powerful is that it requires nothing but your attention. No equipment, no time commitment. You can do it while watching TV, sitting at your desk, even standing in line. But inside, your body is rewiring, reclaiming its strength from the inside out. And here's where it gets even more powerful. When this internal muscle starts working again, it sets the foundation for every other system involved in arousal. The next exercise builds directly on that, moving from deep inside to the surrounding support structures that carry and amplify that control. Are you ready for that next step? Because what comes next isn't just strength, it's momentum. Exercise 2. Bridge pose with pelvic lift. The muscular engine of blood flow. Once your pelvic floor begins to wake up, The next move is to activate the muscles that surround and support it, because blood flow isn't just about one muscle working in isolation. It's about how your body moves, pumps, and delivers. And that requires a system. That's where the bridge pose with pelvic lift comes in. This isn't just a yoga move. It's a circulation powerhouse. When you lift your hips and engage your glutes, you're doing much more than building strength. You're creating a natural pump, one that helps blood reach your pelvis more efficiently and more often. Here's how to do it right. Lie flat on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the ground, and hip-width apart. Place your arms by your sides. Now, press through your heels and slowly lift your hips toward the ceiling. Squeeze your glutes hard at the top. Hold that position for 8 to 10 seconds while breathing deeply, then slowly lower down. That's 1 rep. Aim for 10 to 12 reps per set, and try to complete 2 to 3 sets a day. Dr. William Mark has seen this simple move become a turning point for many of his older patients. Men who had grown used to sitting all day, men who felt like their legs and backs had grown weak. Once they started doing this one movement consistently, everything began to shift. Posture improved. Energy returned. Erections became firmer and more reliable. Why? Because this exercise strengthens the glutes, the lower back, and the core, all of which directly influence pelvic blood flow. But more than that, it reconditions the pathways that connect your brain to your arousal response. The nerves become more alert, the muscles more responsive, and the blood vessels more elastic. One often overlooked bonus: this movement undoes the damage of decades of sitting. Sitting compresses blood vessels. It restricts circulation. It makes the very thing your body is trying to do, deliver blood, more difficult. The bridge pose opens everything back up. As this movement becomes easier, you may notice something else. Better balance, greater control in the lower body, a feeling of groundedness. And just like that, the engine of blood flow is back online. But strength and pumping action alone aren't enough. If the muscles around your hips are tight, they'll choke off that flow before it ever gets where it needs to go. That's why the next exercise isn't about contraction, it's about release. And that release might be the very thing your circulation has been waiting for. Exercise 3. Seated butterfly stretch. Opening the gates to full flow. Now that you've started to build strength and circulation, it's time to create space. Because no matter how strong your pelvic floor or glutes are, if the blood vessels running through your groin are being compressed by tight, inflexible tissue, your progress will be capped. That's where the seated butterfly stretch comes in. At first glance, it looks simple. But don't let that fool you. This single movement can dramatically increase circulation to your pelvic region by releasing some of the most stubborn and silently restricted areas in your entire lower body. We're talking about the hips, the groin, and the inner thighs, places that quietly tighten with age, especially for men who sit often and stretch rarely. Here's how to do it. Sit tall on the floor. Bring the soles of your feet together in front of you, and let your knees gently drop toward the ground. You don't need to push or force anything. Just breathe. Hold your ankles or feet, keep your back upright, and allow gravity to open your hips naturally. Start by holding the position for 30 to 60 seconds, working up to 2 or 3 minutes over time. It's not a race. It's a release. Many men over 60 underestimate how much tension they carry in their hips. This tension compresses blood vessels, reduces elasticity in the connective tissue, and restricts full blood delivery during arousal. The result? Weaker responses, numbness, that subtle disconnect that so many quietly notice but don't talk about. The butterfly stretch helps reverse this. As the muscles around your groin begin to relax, blood starts to move more freely. You'll feel warmth in the hips, a loosening around the inner thighs, and maybe, for the first time in years, a deeper sense of openness in your lower body. But the benefits aren't just physical. This stretch also activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and repair mode. It calms anxiety, lowers tension, and supports arousal from the inside out. So don't overlook this one. It might not feel as active as lifting or squeezing, but the flow it unlocks is just as essential. You're creating the space for blood to reach where it's needed, without force, without strain. And now that the channels are opening, it's time to send more life through them. Get ready for the final move, one that brings rhythm, oxygen, and nitric oxide back into your system. Exercise 4. Cardio walk with active arm pump, the full-body circulatory switch. Once strength, control, and flexibility are in motion, there's one final component that ties everything together: movement. Not just any movement, but the kind that ignites your entire circulatory system from the ground up. That's where the cardio walk with active arm pump comes in. It's deceptively simple but profoundly effective, and it may be the most underrated tool for restoring erectile function after 60. Walking is often overlooked as a therapeutic activity, but when done with intention, it becomes a powerful force for vascular health. As men age, arteries naturally lose elasticity. Blood doesn't flow as freely, and oxygen delivery becomes sluggish. But brisk walking, especially when combined with dynamic arm motion, counteracts these effects directly. It stimulates the heart, activates nitric oxide production, and retrains the blood vessels to expand and contract efficiently. To get started, aim for 20 to 30 minutes of brisk walking 5 times a week. This isn't a slow stroll. It's a deliberate pace that gets your heart rate up, your breath steady, and your body alert. As you walk, pump your arms with intention. Let them swing naturally, in rhythm with your stride. That rhythmic upper body motion adds a circulatory boost, enhancing the blood's return to the heart and improving oxygen exchange. What's remarkable is how this simple movement triggers nitric oxide production, a molecule your body needs to relax blood vessels and maintain firm, lasting erections. Medications like Viagra work by enhancing nitric oxide's effects. But here, your body produces it naturally, just by moving with purpose. There are side benefits too. You'll likely notice clearer thinking, improved balance, and better sleep. That's because cardiovascular health touches every system. And as blood flow improves, so does hormonal balance, emotional stability, and energy throughout the day. If you've struggled with sluggish energy, inconsistent erections, or a general sense of decline, this is your reset button. It's not just about walking, it's about reawakening your body's natural rhythm, fueling it with oxygen, strengthening your heart, and flooding your system with the chemistry of vitality. This exercise is not only the final piece of the system, it's the spark that keeps all the other parts working in harmony. How these exercises work together? Each of the 4 exercises we've explored serves a distinct purpose. One rebuilds strength, another unlocks flexibility, one activates flow, and another fuels endurance, but their real power lies in how they work together. Not as random movements, but as a complete, self-reinforcing system. Think of your sexual function as a symphony. No single instrument can create the full effect alone. But when each one plays in harmony, something powerful happens. It all starts with pelvic floor activation. That's the conductor, the signal that coordinates everything else. When your pelvic floor is strong and responsive, it holds blood in the penis where it belongs. It improves bladder control, intensifies sensation, and provides the muscular base for an erection that lasts. But without support, even the strongest conductor can't lead the orchestra. That's where the bridge pose with pelvic lift enters. This movement strengthens the glutes and lower back, muscles that stabilize your pelvis and directly aid circulation. It not only supports the pelvic floor, but enhances the blood delivery to it. With every repetition, you're teaching your body how to hold blood in place and resist the slow leaks that steal firmness with age. Then comes the seated butterfly stretch, the unlock. It releases chronic tension from the hips and inner thighs, areas that, when tight, quietly choke off circulation. It opens up compressed arteries, frees nerve pathways, and sets the stage for full, unrestricted flow. Without this openness, your strength and activation have nowhere to expand. And finally, the cardio walk with active arm pump ties it all together. This is the rhythm, the momentum, the pulse that brings blood from your heart to your pelvis and back again. It stimulates nitric oxide, supports testosterone levels, reduces stress, and brings life to every other exercise you've done. On their own, each move is valuable, but when practiced together, they create a loop of progress. Strength supports flow, flexibility increases access, movement sustains everything. Over time, the system reshapes how your body performs, not only in bed, but in life. This isn't about a miracle cure or chasing youth. It's about restoring alignment, reconnecting your body's inner systems so they can work together, not against each other. And when they do, confidence returns, not as a fleeting spark, but as a steady flame. By now, you've seen that reclaiming your erection strength, blood flow, and confidence after 60 isn't just about trying harder or turning back time. It's about learning a new rhythm, one that works with your body, not against it. You've learned how 4 simple, equipment-free exercises, pelvic floor activation, bridge pose, butterfly stretch, and cardio walk, can wake up dormant systems, unlock circulation, and rebuild function from the ground up. And when practiced together, they form more than a routine. They become a message to your body. We're not done yet. Maybe the doctors told you it's just age. Maybe you believed that pills were your only option. But the truth is, the body, even in its later chapters, still wants to thrive. It still responds to care, to consistency, to movement. You just needed the right path, and now you have it. This isn't about chasing your 30s. It's about living fully in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, with strength in your legs, presence in your breath, and confidence in your intimacy. These are the years where quality matters most, where connection, physical and emotional, means everything. And that starts with how you treat yourself. So begin, not with perfection, but with practice. Commit to these 4 movements. Carve out the time. Honor your effort. And give your body the opportunity to show you what it's still capable of. You are not broken. You are not too late. And you are not done. If this message gave you something to think about, if it helped you see yourself in a new light, then consider this your starting line. A simple daily practice, a return to strength, and most of all, a reconnection to the rhythm of your own body. Take the next step. You're not just preserving function. You're building a future where you still get to feel strong, proud, and fully alive.